how do we find out the zero of any polynomial? So let's say we have a polynomial. Let's write a sample polynomial. So let's say we have 3x minus 15. We want to find out the zero or the zeros of this polynomial. Now let's say a is the zero of this polynomial. So that means then the value of the polynomial at a must be equal to 0. Why is that? Well, this is by definition. If a is 0 of the polynomial, that means a has to be such a number that value of the polynomial at a must be equal to 0, right? So simply instead of x, we will replace it with a, and then the polynomial must be equal to 0. So for example, here we will replace 3, instead of x we will put a minus 15. So this is PA. This is PA, and this must be equal to 0, right? So if we just solve here, we will get 3a minus 15, which is equal to 0. Or we will take 15 to the other side. We will have 3a equal to 15. And then we will divide both sides by 3. And we will get 15 equals 3 a equals 15 divided by 3, which will be simply 5. So we have found out the zero of our polynomial, and that is 5. And we can simply cross-check. If we actually were to find out the value of the polynomial at 5, which we can very easily do by replacing x with 5, we will see that indeed we will get 0. So this will be 15 minus 15, and which will be 0. So we know our answer is correct. So one very simple way to find out the zero of a polynomial is that we take the polynomial and we simply equate that to 0, right? So here we assume the 0 to be a, but we could have assumed the 0 to be x, and we could have simply equated this to 0 and solved for x, right? So in other words, let's clean this up and let's define this one more time. So when we are asked to find out the zero of a polynomial, we will simply equate the polynomial to 0 and we will solve, right? And whatever the answer we get, the values that we get, those value or values are the zeros of the polynomial. So let's take a look at maybe one or two more examples. Say this time our polynomial px is, let's say, 2x plus maybe 7. And we are asked to find out the zero of this polynomial. So what we will do is we will simply equate our polynomial. We will do px equals 0. So we will convert our polynomial to a polynomial equation. And then we will solve for the variable. So we will have 2x plus 7 equal to 0. Or from here we will get, let's take 7 on the other side. We will have 2x equals minus 7. Now we divide both sides by 2. We will get x equals minus 7 divided by 2. Now minus 7 divided by 2 is the zero of our polynomial. And you can check this out by simply finding out the value of the polynomial at minus 7 by 2. And you will see that you will get it 0. Now what about, let's say we have a polynomial in y, and our polynomial looks like, let's say, it is y squared minus, let's say, 4. So this is a polynomial. So we will do the exact same thing. We will start out by saying that we will equate the polynomial to 0. So we will have y squared minus 4 equal to 0. Now we can write y squared minus 4 as y squared minus 2 squared equals 0, because 4 is nothing but 2 squared, and this is in the form of a squared minus b squared. So we can write this as y plus 2 times y minus 2 equal to 0. When we have product of two numbers equals 0, So this can be 0 or this can be 0. So if we have this as 0, from here we get y equal to minus 2. And if we have this as 0, then from here we get y equals plus 2. So we have two values of y. So minus 2 and plus 2. So here we have two zeros of this polynomial. So this is how we find out zeros of any given polynomial.